Hello, friends. I'm your host Shashi, again with you all on Women Dialogue Talk Show to create more voice for women and by women. And today's our guest is connecting with us from Finland, Miss Ritva, or I will call her Mrs. Santa Claus. Let's hear why she is famous by calling her Mrs. Santa Claus. So, welcome Ritva on this platform to share your journey, your life, and your place where you are connecting from. And let's hear how you got famous by Mrs. Santa Claus. So, welcome.
Well, thank you. I'm so thrilled to be here. And I watched a lot of your dialogues before, what you made, and I think you are doing a great work. Well, this Mrs. Santa Claus, I well, I studied at the University of, of Lapland, or it was Oulu University at that time. And I found how Santa Claus was moved from the fell of ear, Korvatunturi, to Rovaniemi. And they got a lot of money from the government of Finland, and they made Santa Claus, joulupukki, very famous. And I saw it was hard work. So I started to study afterwards at the University of Oulu, a business school, on a summer course, and we found that Mrs. Santa is as important as Santa. And I had many, I had 4 or 5 students in my group, and we found that is a good idea. Of course, I had done something. I was writing a blog by Santa Claus. I was imagining how Santa Claus feels. So that was also something. What it was new and creative, and well, I got some views. So, but we found that Mrs. Santa is as important, well, as Santa, because she is not a man. She's a woman, and she makes her life look good.
Yeah, I think that's very interesting to hear. And when we are talking about your life, your journey, so you grew up in Finland, a place called Hulu, right? Or would you like to share more about your childhood journey?
Well, I was not born in Oulu. This is far from where I was born. I was
Right.
born in Lappajärvi. That was a meteorite lake in the southern Ostrobothnia, in the middle of Finland.
Right.
But the area was also flat like this Oulu area. And there was a big lake, and well, it has a lot of impact if you are born by a water, by a lake. You are longing for the water always in your life. You have it in your soul and in your heart. So,
Right.
but
yeah. So how it seems like when you grew up, what kind of environment, culture, and how your family settings were there? What was there at that time?
well, I'm old, quite old now. So
Yeah.
I can see I was born in a big farmhouse where there was a big family with my grandparents, uncle and aunts, and our family, my father's young family. And we were it was a good start for bringing children, but there was a black shadow over everything, because Finland had just survived from the war times, and my father also was in the war as a young. He was only around 30 years. And well, anyway, everything, people wanted to make Finland a better country.
Yeah.
So that was my. We lived there as I was 4 years, and then we moved to a new house nearby, and we started our family life there. Well, we could. I have three older sisters now. One was dead, and we all are artistic. We are academic. We have academic education. We have worked hard all our life, and we have raised our children, I think, quite well. And I had a secure childhood at the countryside, where we also had cows. That is farming. All kinds of animals.
Yeah, that sounds interesting and very beautiful way when you are experiencing as a child those all natural things. So Ritva, when we are talking about your childhood journey, being with your sibling, with your grandparent, and everyone surrounded, it seems like quite happy and safe kind of settings. Did you find sometimes challenging as well, maybe from other side or some other way, being a female?
Well, I don't understand. Well, I was a child, and I just don't know what kind of challenges there would have been. But I have actually, my sister wrote a book. She wrote a book about my childhood. Well, about her childhood, her young years, and well, can I show the book?
Yes, please. Yeah, please.
Because this was.
Can't see. Can you make it a little more clear?
Yeah,
no, it's not coming. Now it's coming. Okay. Yeah, we can see it.
This was the house.
Gillen, right?
Yes, and well, in my family, my grandmother went to America when she was a young lady. She was there in New York for 5 years, and my sister, the older sister, went to Sweden, Stockholm, and has lived there. And I was also in Stockholm when I was studying. I made summer jobs. I was working there, and I learned Swedish, and so we are quite international. Our family has been quite international, and we have found I think we want to make a world better for ourselves and see what is over the oceans. So I am a curious kind of person. I have been curious and enthusiastic about things, like my role models in my family.
Right. Yeah. And when we are talking, yeah, please.
Well, my grandmother, she saw the first Ford in New York, and she was always telling, she knew English also, and that I was a child, I heard what she was talking, but I I only knew that in the book of my sister, because I was a child, I didn't understand everything. My father and other men told about the war times.
Yeah.
And I was happy about, as a child, I didn't understand anything, but it was really, I can see it was hard times in Finland and in our family.
Right.
So,
yes. So, Ritva, when we are talking about your growing up, your learning, and creating your further career, how was that in your time?
well, my parents were establishing a private grammar school in Finland, in Lappajärvi, in my village. And I went to school, and then I got quite good marks. And I started, well, I went to London, to Sweden and London, and I was one of the first who ever went abroad among my students, friends. So, and then I started to study to be a teacher at the University of Oulu, which was in Lapland, in Rovaniemi at that time. And that was my...
So, as you decided to become a teacher, you must be having a lot of experiences teaching different age group, a lot of children. What kind of experiences, like as you found that it impacted you so much while dealing with all children, teaching them and all?
I was working as an elementary teacher. Well, the examination is a class teacher's examination, and I found, because I became a mother also, so I found that teaching children is my kind of work. I'm a humanist, and I think I was successful in that. And what were my favorite subjects of teaching? It was well, it was music. I was playing and singing, playing the piano and singing, and then nature. What is that? Biology, nature, I don't know that word just for the moment, but okay. I was fond of teaching everything around the school.
Environment. Yeah.
Environments, yes. And
wow.
And I was always drawing on the chalkboard, and so I drew big lines with colored pencils, and I think some of the pupils loved that, because I told stories always. So
do you think when you are drawing these colorful lines, some way you was connecting children with the environment in such a young age?
Yes. And well, I had a role model of teaching, and that was my teacher when I was a child at school. There were always fantastic drawings on the chalkboard. So I continued that. I'm very visual person.
Right. And when you did all those teaching years of experiences, if you go back and recall all those moments, what would you like to bring in this moment now?
I am a teacher, and today there are some things I want to help and make better. And I think that vaccination, COVID time and vaccinations, they are so important. Climate change, prevent the climate change, that is important. And women equality is important. Women's equality with in the society. And what more I was thinking about, that you have to study, and you must put children to school. And let me tell you my thoughts about the vaccination. I was under 10, and the vaccinator or nurse came to our house, and I ran away. I was afraid of that needle. But that was funny. I got it at school anyway, the vaccination. And I understood that how important it was, because there was a lady who got polio in our village. And that is why I want to tell all the children and all the who are not favoring the vaccinations. It is, you don't have to think about the things so much. You just take the vaccination if you want to keep safe. That is true. Ask me. And what more? That's climate change. That is I have become to understand how important it is to prevent it. And in my picture, you can see that winter and the Bothnian Bay, where we have that house of Mrs. Santa Claus. If winters become warmer, all the diversity of the nature suffers. And even if we have harsh winters now, it doesn't mean that the ice surface it has diminished a lot. So we have to do, everyone has to do something. And I think I'd like to be an ambassador of carbon neutral, more carbon neutral world for the children and for their future.
And when we are talking about it, what way you think if we can bring that awareness, that kind of carbon neutral world? What the way you advise or you think?
Yes, as educated women, we are kind of compelled to understand that every one of us can do something. Small deeds as role models. And you are young. You have the future. I'm older. I have not such a long future living, but I want to make my kin, my children and my boys and their grandchildren aware of they can do for the world.
Right. Yeah, that's so important. I think we should all be get aware and have that sense that whatever way we can contribute to make our environment and this climate change and towards better for ourselves is important. So, Ritva, when we are talking about the very famous blog, Mrs. Santa Claus, where
Oh,
you put, yeah, you put a lot of stuff. How you find that? We know that how the idea came up, but how that further journey about?
oh, let me. Oh, it has started. I was talking about my dream,
Yes.
and I found I have progressed slowly steps, uh, slow steps, and I always watch at people how they feel. They are kind of mirrors. Some people are looking at me like nothing, there's nothing, but I don't care. I have a thick skin, and some people are very. They tell me what they think in a nice way, and I like that. I don't especially like criticism. Who does?
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, the story started with this little cat. It came to us, and it was brought by my daughter-in-law Marie, who is industrial designer. She also makes some many things. Anyway, she was a girlfriend of my boy, my son, and it started from there. And they got a little later on. They got a little boy, and she made an elf, a picture of a little elf. And then she's very productive. Finally she drew a snowman, a reindeer. Well, is that reindeer now? It is here. And we made this book then later together. Well, what's more?
Where is Mr. Santa Claus picture? We can see on the blogs as well. I hope you have also.
Of course it is. And we are trying to, well, it looks like me.
Yes.
Anyway.
Yeah, very much like you.
And I'm always, I'm thinking aloud very often. And she also, there was a phone call one night for some years ago. Mm-hmm. We have found you a house. Mom, we have found you a house at the island of Hailuoto. Mm-hmm. And we decided it right away, we will buy it. So that was the story of that Mrs. Santa's house.
Mm-hmm. Right. And how if people want to experience with Mrs. Santa, the surroundings, how they can make it?
They can, well, there has been nearly only private visits. And mm-hmm. I know a lot of international women in Oulu, and mm-hmm. They have encouraged me. They tell that it is interesting in the world. So some of them have visited us, and the house is old. It is made of old Finnish logs, like 300 years old logs.
Oh, wow!
And
you have a picture to share with us?
Yes, I can share it well, where do I put it? Well, it is on my blog.
Oh, yes, we can see that.
And also on my social media channels.
Wonderful. And I think that's really a different experience for people to get experience with Mrs. Santa Claus, to see the old Finnish house, to see the as Mrs. Santa Claus and her surroundings and beauty. So, if when you do all these work, how you find, is it near to your uh, the way you want to give to the community, or what way you found that?
Well, I didn't quite understand what you said, but I still
It's okay. Let me reframe it. So when we are talking about your as a Mrs. Santa Claus, and the kind of work, it's very creative and people feel interesting. I saw your blog, it's very beautiful, it's very creative, and people want to experience it. How you find when people experience it, what kind of feelings, or with what kind of things you feel when you give them that feeling?
Oh, they come to Highland or to that island. They come there by a ferry. And so we have agreed on a visit, and I always remember the children, especially, and of course they have parents with them. And the one part of the trip is the ferry trip over the ocean, and sometimes even through ice blocks. So anyway, it is always exciting. And then they come to our house. It is 15 kilometers from the ferry, the harbor. And our house is in the middle of nationally precious fields. The whole island is acknowledged by the government of Finland as highly very important national sceneries, because it has old agriculture and old buildings, and that is the value. And well, I just watch when the children, the families come to our house. I just watch how they feel, and then the children want to take a picture with Mrs. Santa.
Yeah, that is interesting. So, Ritva, you found your passion, purpose, and while serving as a teacher to children, uh, what advice do you give to other women?
Study. Everything, every day study. Don't. Well, of course, if you are a woman, you have to, a young woman, you want to find a good husband. And if you are lucky, you get some children. But I think you have to work you have to work hard. And of course, you have to compare your efforts, what you do, to the other women. And always there is somebody always backing you up. You need other women at every phase of your life. Be nice, be a trustworthy friend. I have many women friends. We never argue. They are I don't, but if you have friends, you manage your life, but you have to give them also something. But study. You are never too old to study.
Yeah, that's very important and very strong advice. And I think it makes us empowered in all the way, as you said, isn't it?
Oh, please, can you repeat it? It makes power.
Yeah, it makes us empowered to all, as especially
Oh, yes,
women.
of course. Well, if I may say so, that it is important you have a language that is the Finnish language is easy, kind of easy, because the letters are the same as it sounds. And if I think about the women of the world, they don't have it is difficult to study if you don't have the language.
Yeah. Yeah. And when we are talking about our empowerment, our support, and our having a good friend as a woman, how do you find having a platform like this, Women Dialogue, is important in the world?
Let me ask you a question. How did ever you find this way of doing this great series?
For me, it is always, giving more power to others, and it makes me more powerful. So and especially to the women, right?
Well, I'm pretty sure that was not so simple. You have studied along and you find something, found something creative. No one else did find it for you. It was your, well,
Yes, that is true.
Can I go back to our interview?
Yes, please.
This is something I want to tell you, that what you do, others are looking at it and they get impact from that.
Right.
So my son, one of my sons, 4 sons, studied chemistry, and he has done a lot of work at gaming industry, and now they seized the moment. They made a game for promoting vaccination, and I take a bit kind of credit what he did, because they are working with. Can I tell this?
Yes, please.
They are working with WHO.
Yeah.
They are, and that is Science Games. And so mothers and grandmothers and other women in the world are important in every moment what happens in the world.
Yeah. So true. So I believe I can understand the way you answered about how important it is having a women dialogue, having those conversation, women to women, creating voice, not for self, but for others globally as well. So thank you. Thanks a lot for having such faith, having such, encouragement for not for us, but for many other those silent voices who are listening and watching us. So thank you, Ritva. Thank you, Mrs. Santa Claus. Thank you for sharing your journey, sharing your purpose, your how you find your creativity and connecting and helping others. So that's really nice to hear from you. Thank you.
And I thank you very much. It was a pleasure to be here and honor.
And
I'm so I'm so happy that a woman from Finland could be a part of this.
it's so sweet. Thank you. And thanks to all our viewers and audience who are listening and watching us. Keep getting yourself inspired and motivated by hearing and watching these beautiful speakers who are coming and sharing their life journey, their career, and their ups and downs. We all are together in this journey. We can inspire and motivate each other. So get your dose by hearing and get connect with us by hearing another our new speaker in this talk show series. See you in the next time. Till then, take care. Enjoy. Bye bye.